Lesson 1-3, Order of Operations. And I'm sure you all have seen this many times before in your math lives. So let's go over what is the order of operations. And you might know it as Pemdas, parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. We are going to use something similar to that. So what I want you to do is use this space up here in your notable, and often we use the space here and the space here to take notes. So up here, I want you to write, first thing we do is G. What does G stand for? Well, G is going to stand for those grouping symbols. Grouping symbols could be parentheses or brackets, depending on what kind of problem you're working with. What's the second thing we do in the order of operations? Well, the second thing we do is exponents. So that's going to be RE, exponents. Exponents are the little numbers, like if we say what's 3 squared, that equals 9. The exponent is this number right up here. The next thing that we do is multiply or divide, and we're going to do an M or a D for multiply or divide. The reason why I'm saying or is because we do them at the same time. Just when they're happening at the same time, we want to move always from left to right. So multiply or divide, that's the M or D. Last thing we're going to do is add, A, or subtract. We're going to put S, and again we move left to right on adding or subtracting. So for order of operations, first we do the grouping symbols. We work from the inside out. Then we do exponents. We multiply or divide, moving always from left to right. Then we add or subtract, moving again always from left to right. So first thing, this lesson we want to learn how to use the order of operations to evaluate expressions. Remember, expressions means there's no equal sign. No equal sign. Equation is when we do have an equal sign. So here in the blank, you guessed it, order of operations. Remember, I write big, so I kind of go up. Is the set of rules to find the correct value of an expression. Value of an expression. Expression, no equal sign. So let's evaluate our first expression. It says find the value of 7 times 10 plus 10 divided by 2 minus 6 times 5. Show your work. Now when we say show our work, we're over here going to list which operation we did in every step. So if we look at our expression, we have 7 times 10 plus 10 divided by 2 minus 6 times 5. What are we going to do first? Well, if we remember, what are our order of operations again? We want to do grouping symbols, exponents, multiply or divide, add or subtract. Well, there's no grouping symbols, there's no exponents, so we want to look for those multiplication or division. We know we move from left to right, so we go to the farthest left. We say, oh, there's a 7 times 10. We're going to do that first, and that is 70. So we have 70 now plus 10 divided by 2 minus 6 times 5. What did we do? We multiplied 7 and 10. Now what's my next step? We're not going to add 70 and 10 because that's addition, and we haven't done all of our multiplying or dividing. So we can't move to addition or subtraction until all of our multiplying and dividing is done. Our next division or multiplication is, we see here, 10 divided by 2. What is 10 divided by 2? Well, it's 5. So we put our 5 here. What did we do? We divided 10 by 2. Divided 10 by 2. Now here we do 70 plus 5. What's the next thing we do here? we multiply this 6 times 5. Remember, we can't do any addition or subtraction until all of our multiplication and division is done. So what's 6 times 5? It's 30. We put here, we multiplied 6 and 5. Now, we have no more multiplication and division. We only have addition and subtraction left. Now remember, we always move from left to right. So, first things first, we want to add 70 and 5 to get 75. So over here, we want to say we added 70 and 5. Now we subtract 75 minus 30. What do we get? We get 45. We subtracted 30 from 75. So your turn. I want you to see if you can figure this out. Do it in the margin, just like this. So we'll say 26 plus 18 divided by 3 minus 7 times 3. I want you to write out all your steps just how we did here. Your final answer should be the only thing that goes in this box. Okay, so now that you've paused and worked out the problem yourself, let's check your answer. We rewrote it over here in your margin so that you have enough room to write out each step. So what's the first step? We don't have any grouping symbols, we don't have any exponents, so we skip straight to multiply or divide. Well, our first operation is addition, so it's not that. Our second operation is division, and we know multiply and divide comes at the same time. You just move from left to right. So let's do that first. So we get 26 plus 6 minus 7 times 3. And what did we do? We divided 18 by 3. What's our next operation? Well, we have another multiplication problem right here in 7 times 3. So that should be our next thing. So we rewrite our whole problem. 26 plus 6 minus 21 now, because we multiplied 7 and 3. Our next step, 32 minus 21, because we added 26 and 6. We are out of multiplication and division, so we move straight to addition and subtraction. Our final step and our final answer is 11, because our final step is that we needed to subtract 32 and 21. Okay, so we rewrite 11 over here. The value of 26 plus 18 divided by 3 minus 7 times 3 is 11. Let's move on to example number 2. Mrs. Rodriguez bought 3 gallons of milk for $2.50 each and 2 loaves of bread for $1 each. How much did Mrs. Rodriguez spend on milk and bread? Well, the total amount spent is just the amount spent on milk plus the amount spent on bread. We know she brought 3 gallons of milk at $2.50 each, so we can go ahead and put those numbers in. We want to add that to the amount she spent on bread. Well, we know she bought 2 loaves of bread, so they gave us the 2 right there, and they were only $1 each. Move us down to the next step. We have 3 times $2.50. What is that? Well, we know 2 times $2.50 is 5. So 3 times $2.50 is $7.50. What is our step here? We multiplied, I'm just going to write mult, 3 and $2.50. Our next step is we want to multiply 2 times $1. Well, that's pretty easy. It's just going to be $2. Add our money signs. We want to multiply 2 and $1. Mult. Now what do? Our final step, we add $7.50 and $2. Well, $7.50, $8.50, that'll give us $9.50. From how we got that is we add $7.50 and $2. Again, we have a your turn problem, so go ahead and try this on your own using this same method. Maybe do it over here in the margin so you can show all your work. You can check back to see if you got the right answer. So now that you've paused, let's answer that your turn problem. It says, Juanita bought 2 bracelets for $6 each. So that's what we're going to have to remember, 2 and 6. And 3 pairs of socks for $3.50 each. We'll have to remember 3 pairs of socks for $3.50 each. How much did Juanita spend on the bracelets and the socks? Alright, so I asked you to do this in the margin, so I want to put your focus over here. Your equation should be set up 2 times $6. That's 2 bracelets at $6 each. We're going to add that to 3 times $3.50. Now that's 3 pairs of socks at $3.50 each. What's first thing we do is we multiply this 2 and this 6 of order of operations. So we get 12 plus 3 times $3.50 because we multiplied 2 and 6. Next thing we want to do should be pretty obvious. We want to multiply 3 and $3.50 because of our orders of operations. So we have 12 plus $10.50 because we multiplied 3 and $3.50 and we got $10.50. Now of course we want to add those both together to get our total, and we get $22.50, I should say. $22.50 because we added 12 and $10.50. So the total amount that Juanita spent on bracelets and socks is $22.50.